Hi, it's Kai, and today we are going to be doing my first favorites video of the year. So this is for January, February, and honestly a very large portion of March. But I honestly only do favorites videos when I feel like I actually have things to talk about. I don't want to just say that things are my favorite just to make a video or like just because. And I also don't like to necessarily reiterate the same products over and over again because sometimes I feel like repetitiveness can get boring. But if you would like to see me just do my genuine favorites and things that I actually am using from month to month, I can definitely do that. But we've got lifestyle, we've got a book, we've got a snack. So let's just stop the chatter and get right into it. Speaking of the snack, I tried these sun butter jammies. I honestly got them because I saw that I had a coupon on the Kroger app for them. And I'm allergic to peanuts, peanut butter, tree nuts, things like that. So I've never had an Uncrustable. The only time I've ever had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich was when I had my first allergic reaction when I was like 2. So I don't remember that. I've had, incidences with nuts and stuff. Sunflowers I'm okay with, or sunflower seeds, things like that. I played softball growing up, which is evidenced by the fact that I always use that mitt to like hold products up now. But I played softball growing up, so I was able to be around the sunflower seeds, and I really like sunflower seeds growing up. And I also really like sunflower butter. A few years ago, I kind of went on like a sunflower butter binge, and then I just kind of like fell out of it. So when I saw these, I was like, I've never had an Uncrustable before. I want to try an Uncrustable. Let me try it out. And I did make some videos trying them out. I like to try snacks and just different things that are more of a one-off over on my short form platform. So I will see if I can find the videos and put them down below. But I tried them out cold, so just regularly defrosted. Honestly, that one, I was just kind of like, I'm not really feeling it. Then I heated it up. I put it in the toaster or the air fryer because I barely use my toaster since I have an air fryer, but I put it in the air fryer and crispy. It is just like, I get it. I get why peanut butter and jelly and Uncrustables and things like that are such a staple, especially for younger kids, especially for people who are neurodivergent like myself. It's definitely been one of my hyperfixation snacks of the moment, and I liked it so much that I actually went and bought sunflower butter so that I could actually make sunflower butter and jelly sandwiches. These are a little bit more expensive. They're like $5.95 for a pack of 4 of them, which, isn't really a lot. And that's the other reason why I was like, okay, now that I'm kind of back into eating things like this, let me just get sunflower butter, a loaf of bread, and some jelly and essentially make them from scratch. But I will keep these on hand every once in a while, like when I go back to do my food shopping for the next 2 or 3 weeks, whenever that is. I will definitely get another one of these because I think they still have the coupon going for it, but also because with the neurodivergence in me, I have a tendency to forget that I'm hungry, or like not really being able to sense that I'm hungry until I am so hungry that I am about to throw up or pass out. And those are obviously things that we don't want to do, but it's really just hard for me to tell, especially like when I'm getting really into something. I'm filming, editing, doing other types of work, writing, like sniffing perfume, like whatever it is. I just lose track of all of my bodily senses and the fact that I am a human who is tethered to them. So again, I'll probably keep these on hand as a snack for me to be able to quickly grab, heat up in like 5 to 10 minutes, and something that takes a little bit less time and assembly, because again, the ADHD part of that is the executive function and feeling like making a peanut butter and jelly or a nut butter and jelly sandwich from scratch is too long. But anyway, I absolutely love these. I've literally gone ad nauseum about them for the last few minutes, so I'm gonna stop talking about it. But this is really good for people who cannot have peanut butter or traditional nut butters, even if you're allergic to like almonds and stuff. Almond is one of the ones that I can have, so I've tried almond butter in the past and like it. From what I've been told, sunflower butter is actually the closest tasting and texture wise to real peanut butter. I, again, can't attest to that, but that's what I've been told. And honestly, the first time I ever tried sunflower butter, it did smell and like give so much of a peanut butter air that it's almost like psychologically I gave myself an allergic reaction or like felt like my throat was tightening. And then when I actually calmed myself down, I was like, girl, you're not having an allergic reaction. Like, you're fine. And my book favorite is The Bluest Eye. And not only is this my favorite book that I've read more recently, it's also my favorite book of all time now. And yeah, anyone who's read this is probably hearing me say that and being like, how mentally disturbed are you? Very, but also this book was somewhat healing to read. The premise of it is there is a young Black girl who has a series of misfortunes go on in her life, and she feels as though if she were to have blue eyes, essentially, you know, a representation of if she were white, if she weren't Black, that she would have a much better life or that things would be better for her. And it's basically like the chronicling of every part of her upbringing, her parents' upbringing, and how that all culminated. It is just a book that dives really deep into the fact that Black people have generational trauma like within our families as well as like on a large societal scale. And it is also, as someone who has really been working especially over the past few years to unpack her anti-Blackness, so much so that being in a corporate environment was like feeling like I had to stand up for just being who I am constantly. It is so refreshing to read this book and feel like I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy. Like, people really do treat you differently. People really do, when you are a Black person who isn't self-deprecating, treat you differently. So again, I am in love with this book. I would classify it as a psychological thriller. You might be thinking, you know, this is literary fiction. Technically, it is a psychological thriller. Go into it expecting to be a different person coming out of it. I don't think it necessarily needs to be adapted into a film or TV show or anything like that. But if it did, hello? Jordan Peele, telephone for you. I feel like he would, I can't even think of how he would make this. It would just be even more jarring to view on a screen. So again, not trying to give anyone ideas for anything. That is one that it would be simultaneously, just like the book, probably the pinnacle of artistic talent in like the horror genre, as well as like just it not being really horror, like it's psychological. Anyway, I gotta stop talking about it. I could gush about it forever and ever and ever. I really could. It is truly one of the best books. Well, not one of, to me, the best book I've ever read. Okie dokie. And into the more fun stuff like lifestyle, I have my current laundry combo of the moment that I really enjoy. The first one is this Myers Clean Day laundry detergent. It's the Birchwood scent. I maybe have talked about this before. I know I've talked about my laundry detergents and stuff like that in empties videos as well as in short form content too, but I really like this scent specifically. The other Mrs. Myers scent, except for the compassion flower one, I smelled that one recently and it's a really nice one, and I could see myself purchasing that in place of this, especially since near me the only place that I've been able to find this is Target, and I'm not really wanting to purchase it from Target right now. If I get a gift card or something like that, I might change my mind, but I'll probably just order it off their website. But I'm also trying to work on some of my financial wounds and financial traumas and allowing things to run out completely, like run completely. I have a little bit of probably one use of laundry detergent left, and in in the past, or even the recent past, despite the fact that I still have powder detergent as well, but that's a different thing, I would have seen that I was like running low, or even would have been like a fourth or a third low of the bottle that I had of something, and immediately gone to replace it because I had the fear of like running out and not having it. So I'm really trying to step back and be like, you can run out of things before purchasing them. However, when you can't purchase something in store, or don't want to purchase it at a specific store, and you want to purchase it online, or can only find it online and have to wait for the shipping and stuff like that, sometimes that can create a little lag or like a hole. Either way, probably will be purchasing this online at some point, but I know the Compassion Flower scent is sold at a non-Target store near me, so I might try that one out next if I want to repurchase the Mrs. Meyer's. But the Birchwood scent in particular just has that really clean, alpine, slightly woody, but like fresh hotel sheet, hotel lobby scent. I don't even know what the actual notes of the fragrance that are in here. It's just called the Birchwood scent in general, but this scent is incredible, and I wish they had more of their products in this, because I think they have maybe their multi-purpose spray, this, and I want to say one other product. Maybe it's like a fabric softener, but I don't really use fabric softener. I wish they had like their version of scent beads or scent boosters in this scent. They don't currently. If they did, I would always like purchase them together. I would be going back on the website, you know, constantly to make sure that I have both of them together, because they're beautiful on sheets as well as on like my actual clothes. I feel like the scent, even if I don't use any complementing scent beads with this and just use the detergent, I feel like it lasts and like smells fragrant on my clothing and my bedding and whatever I use with this, versus feeling like, oh, I put it in the dryer, like it comes out of the washing machine smelling good, but then when I put it in the dryer, I don't really get that same smell afterward. So again, really beautiful, love this one. And then the scent beads that I have been using in combination with them, because this is like a kind of soft floral, powdery musk type of fragrance, but there's also something a little bit aromatic about it as well. It's the Arm & Hammer Clean Sensations Cool Wood scent. The notes are supposedly zesty citrus, rich woods, and cool amber, and it's meant to transfer you to the heart of the crisp, clean forest. But it definitely, again, has a little bit of like an alpineness to it. I would definitely say this is more just like woody. This has like a woody, musky, still kind of classic laundry detergent-esque vibe to it. But there's also something that smells maybe a little bit like Irish Spring soap, or, you know, body wash, you know, just the scent of Irish Spring. I can't stop sniffing them. Like, they smell so good that I really want to taste them, and I know they won't taste the same. Don't ask me why I know they won't taste the same outside of common sense, because it's more than common sense, unfortunately. They just, it gives me that, like, you know, when something looks like it's going to taste really good and you get like that feeling in the back of your throat that's just like, yeah, I want to eat that. That's how I feel about this. And honestly, while I love the downy ones that I usually buy and that you guys have seen in a lot of empties videos, they're getting really expensive. Like in some of my regular stores, they range from $15 to $20 even. These are $6.97 at Kroger, or my local Kroger. And then I have been seeing a lot of like buy one get one free, or like last week they had these for like $3.49. So I actually went in and just picked up another one, again kind of contradicting the whole let yourself run out of something first. But I was just like, you know what, I know I like these, I know I'm going to use it. If it's on sale, it's different. If I'm just picking up something full price, I can wait to run out of it. But if something is on a really good sale, like if Mrs. Meyer's had a 25% sale off starting today, I would probably purchase this even though I'm not completely done with it. But again, since it was on sale, I was like, I can go ahead and pick up another one, especially since I'm like halfway through the one that I have. Again, great on towels, clothing. I do feel like it's maybe a little bit less fragrant once you run the clothes through the dryer. These in combination with each other definitely make up for that. And if you have any type of laundry detergent that is just a little bit more fragrant, it'll definitely work together so that this sticks to the clothes a little bit better. But I love that. That's what my clothing has been smelling like, because if your body isn't clean and your clothes aren't clean, it doesn't matter what perfume you use, you're gonna smell bad or you're not gonna smell great. I've already talked about these in my last empties video, but they are technically favorites because I really do enjoy them. The sniff candles in particular, I wanted to talk about guilty pleasure because I talked about Big Flirt last year. That is one that I believe was in a favorites and in empties last year in addition to this year, but guilty pleasure was the new one that they came out with for like the Valentine's Day collection. And this was just such a nice, like soft almond cake type of fragrance. It just smelled pretty and sweet without being too gourmand. There's a certain airiness about this, which I think comes from the fact that it says it's a macaron scent whipped with fresh strawberry, almond, and vanilla butter. So like vanilla and sweet, but not necessarily like deep, dense vanilla or like a dense cake or dulce de leche or something like that. You know what I'm saying? There's just like a meringue type of vibe is lighter. I don't know. It's fluffier. You guys get what I'm saying. I feel like it's really difficult to explain scent except in reference to taste, like to kind of make the comparison of why certain, you know, vanillas smell super sweet and like a dessert while other ones are a little bit more like light and fluffy. So anyway, that's what this candle smells like. Overall, Sniff's candles, despite being a little bit more pricey, they are, I feel, worth it because I feel like they really fill up the entire room. It doesn't matter what room that I am in, I can smell it like if I'm turning the corner going from one room to the other. The cold throw on them is also really good. Like if I'm just sitting in the room with the candle or like next to the candle, I shouldn't just say in the room with the candle, because I feel like with open floor plan vibes, which are really popular in most apartments and houses and stuff these days, you know, you might be in the dining room, but it's also the living room, but you're like not right next to the candle despite being in the same room. I know that's probably semantics and me thinking too much into it. It does if I'm sitting next to it, you know, I'm sitting on my couch journaling or something, but I don't have the candle lit and it's on my table. What is that called? Coffee table. I can still smell it in the air. It's obviously not like super duper in your face or as strong as if you were burning it, but you can definitely still smell it wafting in the air. So I really do like those candles. Those are candles that I have purchased with my own money and would purchase with my own money, despite these getting so graciously sent to me from the Sniff team. If they want to send me more, you know, I'm just a person who, when I do really like a product from a brand, I don't mind if you continue sending it to me. Like, you don't have to send me every single launch. You don't have to send me everything. But if you know I like a product, I don't mind if you keep just sending it my way. Like, I will continue burning this. I hope it's still available. I know last year, you know, once Valentine's Day was over and all of that, they kind of went away as the stock sold out, but I kind of wish they were year-round scents if they are not. Okie dokie, and getting into more of the beauty items. Speaking of more fragrance items, I've been really jumping around my perfume collection a lot in the last month. I haven't been wearing a lot of the same scents over and over again, so it's been kind of hard to say that I have a specific perfume favorite. It's the same thing with beauty products as well. Sometimes when I'm so focused on my Project Pam products, I'm like, how can I really say that something else is a favorite? And that's part of the reason I don't do these videos as frequently. But one fragrance that I've been really enjoying and I feel like is definitely going to be a standout fragrance for the spring and summer for me is Le Bon Gourmand Nectar de Passion. They did send this to me, but this is one of the best fragrances that they've launched. And I know that I say that about a lot of them. Actually, their last launch, I think, the Cerise Riche scent, that one wasn't my favorite, if I'm being completely honest. So this one was a great rebound from that. It has a passion fruit note. It's like really nice and fruity. It smells like fruit punch, but again, with that passion fruit, I guess like a passion fruit punch. And it just kind of dries down to like a soft, sweet, you know, musky scent, nothing too out of the ordinary, but I really do like what it smells like just on the opening. It's so punchy, so juicy. I just feel like this smells like having fun in the summer. It smells a little bit like jungle juice. It smells like my college years. Like it just kind of has those type of fun vibes to it. And I also think in general that passion fruit is going to be like passion fruit and guava in particular. We started seeing maybe a little bit more banana last year, but I'm hoping that gets pushed to the forefront. But I think we're going to see some more tropical fruits put in fragrances, but not in tropical fragrances, because while this has the passion fruit scent there, I wouldn't necessarily say this is like a tropical coconutty, like laying next to the beach scent. It really maintains like a light, playful, just juiciness. This is one of the more odd favorites I probably have, and I'll have to put the entire name of it because I don't remember the full name. I just know that it's from JCat Beauty, but it's one of the little beauty spatulas, because I have had some products like moisturizers, my Project Pan concealers, like things like that, where I can't really get to the very bottom or some of the product that is around the edges. And so this little spatula, it's double-sided, so it has like this side, it's a little bit bigger, but it's still very small. Like it's smaller than the tip of my finger. But there's also this super duper thin side that you can get into a lot of different packaging, especially packaging that is a little bit smaller and tighter, like concealer bottles and things like that. So it's been really helpful to get into those smaller bottles, scrape the product off the side, or even gather a little bit of product to put on the back of my hand or my makeup palette or whatever when I'm doing my makeup, so that I'm not just sitting there for 10 minutes trying to scrape the doe foot around the edge to get like no product on it because it's all at the bottom. So if you are a person who has been project panning and you feel not necessarily bad, I don't think any of us should feel bad or guilty about the fact that the packaging of products is not made for us to get all of the product out. But if you are a person who wants to try to get more of the product out versus just getting rid of the product when it's almost done, but there's still some left, especially for those products with packaging where like a quarter of the product is left at the bottom and you just can't get to it because the little whatever, the doe foot, the pump, it just doesn't go down far enough to get the rest of the product. So again, really helpful for that. It's really inexpensive too. I think it was like $3 or $4. So definitely a good product to end up getting a greater investment if you see getting more out of your products and investment. The Topicals Clearly Clarifying and Calming Mist is really, really nice. I have had just a few little pimples and spots and stuff. I've been eating some sweets and some cookies, I'm not gonna lie, and sometimes like sweets can give me a little bit of texture on the skin. It just, you know, it's just one of those things, man. But this is really good for when I do have sweets and I'm starting to see a little bit of texture or bumps. I even have one on the side of my nose that was like really, really red and just kind of vicious looking, even though it wasn't like a raised comedone. And I used this on my face, and the next day it definitely was less red and it was like retreating in itself. So if you are an acne prone person, I could definitely see this being a good addition to your routine. And even if you're not and you just have some issues with texture and acne every once in a while, it's still a really nice product. There's hypochlorous acid in here as well, but I would not use it the same way I would use a hypochlorous acid spray, because I felt like with hypochlorous or just straight up hypochlorous, with the exception of I think vitamin C C, you can pretty much just use it, you know, in any routine. I want to say that it's not even about like not being able to use vitamin C and hypochlorous acid together. I think you just have to wait a certain amount of time because the hypochlorous acid will destabilize the vitamin C. I'm pretty sure that's what the cosmetic chemists on TikTok have been saying, but don't quote me completely, do your own research. So like I was saying, I wouldn't use it as a hypochlorous acid spray because in that instance, you can use it pretty much all of the time. With salicylic acid, even though it is only 2%, and maybe if your skin isn't as sensitive as mine, you could use this every single day. I wouldn't use an exfoliating acid every single day because one of the ways that I gave myself really, really bad acne was by using a exfoliant every day, and I didn't know that you weren't supposed to do that, and it was just fucking my skin barrier so bad. So I wouldn't use this every single day. I use it maybe 3 times a week, 2 to 3 times depending on how my skin is feeling. Again, you may be able to use it a little bit more if your skin is not as sensitive, but I would say you probably don't want to use this more than like every other day or every 2 to 3 days. Like I feel like using it 3 times a week or 2 to 3 times a week is actually the perfect amount for a product like this, but to each his own. Just make sure that you are informed going into this that it is a exfoliating acid. I don't feel necessarily any sensitivity happening with my skin, but it could happen. Since doing my full face of black owned products, I just haven't been able to put down the lip bar Just to Tint 3-in-1 tinted skin conditioner. I love this product. I've been recommending it to people who have been asking for foundation recommendations because I've had a few friends say, hey, I want something that's more lightweight, doesn't feel like a whole bunch, but still gives a little bit of coverage. This is not going to be full coverage, but it definitely like covers my darker marks and makes them less noticeable. It is one of the foundations tinted moisturizers, I guess you could say, that I gravitate toward when I'm going out with friends or know I'm going to be somewhere where I might be taking pictures because I feel like it just looks really good on my skin. It is not too matte, it is not too dewy, it's just like perfectly in the middle, a healthy look to the skin. And there's even a little SPF. It's only SPF 11, so you're not gonna wanna use this as your main sunscreen. But, you know, if you're out and about, especially with it getting, well, not really today, it's not super sunny, but with it getting sunnier, it's, you know, an added layer. And especially since a lot of us are not reapplying the way that we should, a layer that is at least gonna be, you know, on the skin for a little bit of time is probably a step up from, you know, just slathering it on at the beginning of the day and or not using it at all, of course. For makeup, with my Project Pan, again, I've been using a lot of those products, but one of the eyeshadows that I've started using a lot more is Wild Oak from Phytosurgeons. It's one of their flash fluorescence shadows. Oh, I forgot that when I have nails on, it is a little bit difficult to get in the pot without, you know, but wait, I have a little spatula. But that's what it looks like on the back of my hand. And as you see, it's not something that is super, like, you can build it up, but it definitely gives just kind of a nice, like, light glowy sheen. It's almost like a highlighter for the eyes, and I like it because I can put it on top of a matte shadow and it gives just a little bit of dimension without it being shimmery or glittery. It really does look like just a little bit of a sheen or kind of like a satin matte vibe to it, and it's such a pretty shade, especially on my skin. Like when I first got it, I definitely was like, oh, maybe I wanted a little bit of a deeper-ish gold shade, but even though this is a little bit of a lighter gold, kind of a gold with a little bit of an olivey undertone to it, so that also might be the reason that it works well for my skin. It's not too light white gold, but like I said, it's definitely one that I like to put on top of my Project Pan matte shadow that I have if I want to just add something a little bit more elevated than just a blank matte shadow. I also like the Phytosurgeons eyeshadows because even when I do wear the ones that are a little bit more pigmented or build this one up, I don't feel like it gathers and creases and all of that. It just kind of stays where it's put. And these are also really good for one shadow looks. Like you don't even have to put another shade. Even this one, I could probably put all over the lid in like a light wash and just kind of go, and it'd be a model off duty, just like, you know, ethereal type of thing. My last favorites are lip products. One of them may or may not have the same formulation. I've seen, I think her name is Paloma. I don't know what her at name is, but everyone knows her on the other app as the girl who loves the NYX Cold Brew lip liner and has been trying to find a cold brew dupe for like the old NYX lip liners. And this is my version of cold brew. It's the NYX Suede Matte Lip Liner in the shade Mason. This is one that if they have changed the shade, I haven't bothered to go get another one or to look to see if the shade is that changed, but if they change the shade, I will be devastated because this is the exact color of my actual lip line. Like I have a darker lip line or like some hyperpigmentation, basically built-in lip liner. I like to call it that, but it's not even all the way around my lip line. So I like to use this to even it out. And then I can go in with pretty much any shade of lip gloss, lipstick, lip stain, whatever, and fill in like kind of like what I have going on today. I have a different lip liner on, but it's the same type of idea. What I like so much about this is that it's not warm. It is a neutral tone, maybe even leaning a little bit cool tone, but it is not a warm brown. And so many, even NYX's other liners, so many brown liners come off. They're either super deep chocolatey brown or an orangey, like rusty brown. And we want cool tone. We want purpley or just straight up neutral tone browns too. We want them too. So this is my favorite one. If they have discontinued it or repackaged it and like changed the way that it looks, you'll see me doing a similar series about finding the perfect dupe for it because I love this. And my last favorite is actually the Phytosurgence lip balm. I've just been using my lab sample of it, and in particular I've been using the clear one, which is the one that I had gotten the least amount of use out of when I first got these. Like I was using it, it's a really nice formula, liked it, but I was like, oh, I like these ones with a little bit of tint. But now I've just been wearing this all the time. Like, oh, I'm going to take something to the post office, just add a little bit of this. Oh, I'm going to the store, grocery shopping, just add a little bit of this, because it allows my lips to feel nourished without being sticky. And when I'm going out places, I don't want my mask to like be sticking to my face every time I breathe. So this is a really mask friendly lip balm. And I know that's something that, you know, isn't necessarily a priority for everyone. It's totally okay if it's not, but it is a priority for me. And these definitely make wearing lip balm, or even like the colored ones, it just makes wearing lip color a little bit more comfortable when I have something, you know, obstructing my face or my lips. The reason that I have this one is because I wanted to show you guys what the actual packaging looks like, not in a lab tube sample. I promise they have actual like nice packaging. It's nice. It looks great. It kind of reminds me of the Nivea lip balms, which were some of my favorites because the packaging was so nice. So I can't wait to, you know, open this one. I have about this much, like it's rolled up to here. So honestly, I'll probably finish this within the next few months, and then I'll get to move on to my full, you know, actual real baby. And then when I have it, when I'm out and about, I can say more than like, oh, sorry, this is my lab sample, you know, like pulling up their name or their website on my phone to be able to be like, they don't look like this all the time. Anyway, that is everything that I have for this empties video. It was a long one. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you were eating or drinking while you were watching this, because I'm sure someone went to go get a drink or a snack when you saw how long it is. Anyway, I hope you guys are staying safe and healthy wherever you are when you're watching this, and I will talk to you guys in the next one.